Assalamu alaikum everyone. So today we are going to start with the part 13 of our chapter number 2, reproduction in lower and higher animals. So today we are going to start with a topic that is called as what? Placenta. Placenta. It is a flattened discoidal organ in the uterus of a pregnant woman. The placenta is a temporary structural and functional connection between the fetal and maternal circulation. It is the structural and functional connection. It has its own structure, whereas it is quite functional also, where between the fetal and the maternal circulation. Fetal means the fetus and maternal means it is the connection between the fetus and the mother body blood circulation. Okay, the placenta facilitates the supply of oxygen and nutrients. It facilitates the supply of oxygen and nutrients, and also for removal of carbon dioxide and excretory waste produced by the fetus. Coming to the next point, it also acts as an endocrine tissue and produces the hormones like HCG. HCG means human chorionic gonadotropin. So these are the hormones which is produced by the placenta like HCG, progesterone, estrogen. Coming to the next point, these hormones are required for fetal growth and maintenance of the pregnancy. Which are they? HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin hormone, progesterone and estrogen. These are the hormones which are required for the fetal growth, for the growth of the baby, and for the maintenance of the pregnancy. Here in this slide you can see the structure of the placenta. Okay, in this slide you can see the structure of the placenta. Here you can see umbilical cord is given, and from umbilical cord the fetal vein comes out, whereas the fetal artery is also there. The red color portion which is coming out from the umbilical cord, so this the red color portion is the fetal vein, whereas the blue color, it is the fetal artery. It means what? These are the veins and the arteries of the fetus, of the baby, of the embryo. Okay, but now we will say it as a fetus because the fertilization has took place and pregnancy has been achieved. Therefore it is called as what? Fetal. Then you can also see the maternal artery. Maternal artery on the left side means the arteries of the mother, whereas on the below part you can see the intervillous space, lacuna. The space is there in between them, that is called as what? Lacuna, called as what? Intervillous space. Coming to the right side of the portion, the slide, you can see maternal vein, means these are the blue color portion on the downward side. This is the vein of the mother, called as what? Maternal vein. Whereas coming to the uppermost part, chorionic villus. Chorionic villus. So this is what? This is the structure of the placenta. I hope you got it. Moving to our next slide, there is some more description regarding the placenta. Okay, now the the placenta is attached to the wall of the uterus and to the baby's umbilical cord. It is attached to the, here from the figure you can see the placenta is attached to the wall of the uterus and the baby's umbilical cord. Placenta is the only organ which is formed of tissues from two different individuals, the mother and the fetus. I'm repeating it once more. It is the only organ. Placenta is the only organ which is formed of tissues from two different organs, from two different individuals, the mother and the fetus. Part of the placenta contributed by the fetus is called the fetal placenta, and it is the chorionic villi. It means what? The portion which is contributed by the fetus, that much part of the placenta is called as what? Fetal placenta, and it is the chorionic villi. The other part which is rich in blood supply shared by the mother is a part of the uterine wall, which is termed as maternal placenta. So human placenta is called as what? Hemochorial. It is called as what? Hemochorial. Now, some more regarding the placenta. The umbilical cord is formed of three blood vessels. The umbilical cord, it is formed of three blood vessels. One of these three blood vessels, two are small arteries which carry the blood towards the placenta, and one is a large vein which returns the blood to the fetus. So basically, the umbilical cord is formed of three blood vessels. Okay. Now we will see what do you mean by umbilical artery and umbilical vein. Okay, we will see that what do you mean by umbilical artery and umbilical vein. Umbilical vein, it is the vein that flows the blood to the baby's heart. It is the vein that flows the blood to the baby's heart. Therefore, it carries the oxygenated blood, means pure blood. Whereas the umbilical artery, the arteries flow blood away from the heart. Arteries flow blood away from the heart, returns the blood that has offloaded oxygen to the baby fetus, and so is deoxygenated in order to pick up the more oxygen again from the placenta. This is all about the umbilical vein and the umbilical artery. Now we will see parturition. Humans are viviparous. Humans are basically viviparous, means they directly give birth to their young ones. Viviparous means they directly give birth to their young ones. Therefore, humans are called, they are viviparous. Parturition. Now, what do you mean by parturition? Parturition is the process of giving birth to a baby. It is the process of giving birth to a baby. Basically, delivering the baby. The physical activities involved in parturition, like uterine and abdominal contractions, dilation of cervix, and passage of baby, are collectively called as labor. Labor is accompanied by localized sensation of discomfort or agony called labor pains. Okay? Labor is accompanied by localized sensation of discomfort or agony called as labor pains. Parturition is controlled by a complex neuroendocrine mechanism. It is controlled by a complex neuroendocrine mechanism. Signals arise from the fully formed fetus and placenta, cause mild uterine contraction. It is accompanied by rise in estrogen-progesterone ratio, increase in oxytocin receptors in uterine muscles. So all this is what happens at the time of the parturition. I am repeating it. Parturition is controlled by a complex neuroendocrine mechanism. Signals arise from the fully formed fetus and placenta and cause the mild uterine contraction. What does it cause? Parturition. It causes the mild uterine contractions. It is accompanied by a rise in estrogen and progesterone ratio, increase in oxytocin receptors in uterine muscles. They cause vigorous contraction of myometrium of uterus at the end of pregnancy. They cause what? A very serious contraction, a very vigorous contraction of myometrium of uterus at the end of the pregnancy. The fully developed fetus gives signals. The fully developed fetus gives signals for the uterine contraction by secreting adrenocorticotropic hormone, which is also called as ACTH. I'm repeating it once more. They cause the vigorous contractions of myometrium of uterus at the end of the pregnancy. The fully developed fetus gives signals to the uterine contractions by secreting the adrenocorticotropic hormone, which is nothing but the ACTH, from pituitary and corticosteroids from adrenal gland. These triggers release of oxytocin. These triggers release of oxytocin from mother's pituitary gland, which acts on uterine muscles of mother and causes the vigorous uterine contraction. This leads to expulsion of the baby from the uterus. What happens? This leads to the expulsion of the baby from the uterus. It involves the following different steps. We will see the following different steps in the next slide. As I have said in the last slide, parturition occurs in the following 3 steps. Dilation stage, okay, then dilation stage, then expulsion stage, which is the second stage, and last stage is the afterbirth stage. First, we will study regarding the dilation stage. Uterine contractions begin in this dilation stage. The uterine contraction begins in this dilation stage from top, forcing the baby towards the cervix. So the baby can move forward towards the cervix. Contractions are accompanied by pain. Contraction which happens, they are accompanied by pain caused by compression of blood vessels. Oxytocin induced the uterine contraction becomes stronger and stronger due to stimulatory reflex. As the baby is pushed down in the uterus, its head comes to lie against the cervix. Cervix get dilated. The vagina also shows similar dilation. This stage of labor can normally last up to few hours. It ends in rupturing of the amniotic membrane of fetus. This is all about the dilation stage. Now, moving to the next stage, that is called as what? Expulsion stage. What happened over here is the uterine and the abdominal contractions become stronger. In normal delivery, the fetus passes out through cervix and vagina with head in forward direction. It takes about 20 to 60 minutes. The umbilical cord is tied and cut off. The umbilical cord is tied and cut off close to the baby's navel. The umbilical cord is tied and cut off close to the baby's navel. You can just imagining how it is difficult it to be. Thank you all. So now in the next lecture I am going to discuss all the remaining part of our chapter. Thank you so much.